Most of you would have heard the news that we've had a local councillor stand up against this proposed segregation. Division 9 is lucky to have him, Councillor Brett Olds.
I'm here today to talk about these tyrannical rules, these mandates, these restrictive mandates that this Premier is trying to bring in to take your and my freedom to go away. Anytime you bring in a negative policy of segregation causing discrimination against your own citizens, look at the history of the world, it never has a positive outcome. And I really do appreciate every single one of you turning up here today, because I can tell you the wind has changed, the tide has turned, and I'll give you a quick story as to why I believe that. There's a couple of different reasons. One, every single one of you people here today, there's been studies done around the world, and most politicians know this, for every one person that turns up to a rally or a protest or an event, there's at least 10 other sympathetic people that aren't here. And I know 30 people that couldn't make it today that want to be here. And the other huge thing, guys, and the Premier, she made a huge mistake with these stupid mandates because it's got us united. I got a call last week, probably about 8 days ago now, from 3 high-ranking people in the LNP that didn't want me to step down, and they're good people, I like them. And they had a chat with me and they said, Oldsy, you're a smart guy. You're on the wrong side of this, you're not going to win this fight. And I said to them straight away 2 things, guys. One, I didn't start this fight, none of us here started this fight. This fight was brought to our footsteps by this nitwit Premier, Anastasia Palaszczuk. Some things are worth fighting for, and I've got 4 kids. How can I look them in the eye and tell them, stand up for what you believe, trust your instincts, if I don't do it myself and leave from the front? So a lot of people have been asking me this last week or two, what do you think the solution is? What can we do? One is what we're doing today, turning up. This is huge. But I'll give you some advice, and this is just from me personally. I honestly believe we need more compassion and empathy when we're talking to everyone, our neighbours, our families. What's been going on this last year and a half, and especially this last 6 months in our country, it's turning families against each other. It's turning friends against friends, neighbours against neighbours. Guys, yeah, the media, they've been propagating a lot of fear out there too. Don't allow yourself to get in and start, especially if you know it's going to be an argument, you start telling them why they should or shouldn't, and they tell you why you should or shouldn't. As soon as you're fighting, as soon as we're distracted fighting each other, guess who we're not concentrating on? Anastasia Palaszczuk. That's the third reason why I know we're winning, because like I said, these people told me, Oldsy, you're not going to win this fight. Fast forward 7 days, 2 days ago, our Prime Minister came out on the front foot after being a church mouse for the last 12 months, while our own residents and citizens are getting shot with rubber bullets in Melbourne, saying nothing. He finally came out. Now, I don't care what his motives are. I don't care if it's because of the election coming up, or I think he's noticed the winds are changing, and he's come out and publicly stated exactly what we're saying, guys. These mandates are ludicrous. And Warren Inch came out yesterday on Facebook and said the exact same thing. So 8 days ago, they were saying the opposite. This week. But I want to say, Bob Catter's here, Shane Knuth's here. They were up at Atherton yesterday, and that was the biggest rally the Tablelands have ever seen, apparently. So well done to them, elected representatives standing up and talking against this BS. Now you've got Warren Inch saying the right thing, you've got Bob Catter, you've got Shane Knuth, you've got me. I want to let you know some other legends in our state of Livingston Shire Council. Now last week, they voted unanimously to send a polite letter to the Premier to tell her to go take a flying jump. And I can tell you I've copied their motion and I've made it a bit more Cairns-centric, and I'm going to raise a general business item next Wednesday in the Cairns Regional Council, and we'll see how that goes. There's something I want to tell you. It's about tyranny and democracy. I hope you guys know the difference, because democracy is when you, the people, know everything about your elected representatives and your government. I'm elected and I have to be transparent. So democracy is when you know everything about your government. Tyranny is when your government wants to know everything about you and run your life. So guys, continue to love your neighbours and don't get in arguments. Continue to turn up to these things. We're going to win the hearts and minds of more people on the fringe. They'll come over. Once they see all these elected people standing up, all you people standing up, it gives other people courage. So thank you all for standing up, guys. My wife says this all the time. She goes, the standard you walk by, that's the new standard you set. It warms my bloody heart that you guys will not walk past this standard. Thank you so much, guys.
Next up, we have got a local political monster who knows all the ins. Rod Davis, you can say no.
Righto. around about a year or so ago, John Skerritt, one of the guys that is the head of the TGA, said that there'd be about 2 or 3 people per million that would be suffering the result of the vax injury. We've now gone from, that's about 70 Australians, now we're up to not 7,000, but 70,000 injured people. Now, how many people in the audience now know somebody who's had an injury? How many people in the audience know somebody who's got COVID? Now, that's a bit of a difference, isn't it? So I am well and truly sick of going home at night and putting my TV on and being inundated every night with propaganda, with no alternative debate. I am sick of getting onto Facebook and finding us banned again. I'm just over the bullshit that's coming our way. We see doctors unable to speak. We see nurses who are threatened with their job. We had a big rally down here in front of the hospital, and it was a very sad day for those nurses. That is not right in the middle of a alleged pandemic to sack the medical workers. What insanity! How crazy is our world gone?
It's not Australia!
Certainly not Australia. I'm sick of PCR tests that are put on 40 cycles that tell people that are perfectly well that they've got COVID. When that one person gets a COVID call, it takes out about 200 of his friends in business, and they're all going to go to sit at home and do nothing. It's got to stop. There are curatives out there. Why are they banning the curatives? We know they work. They've got to be released. I am sick of having Fauci run the world, where his wife is in charge of bioethics at the NIH, which determines whether the stuff is safe or not. Yesterday in Atherton, I was surprised. I locked up there, and Bob Katter comes out, and he declares well and truly, I'm over this. He'd been having people pouring into his office every week, telling him stories of deaths, near deaths, somebody about to die, other people paralysed, and he was shocked. Bob himself didn't even know there was a VS list until I mentioned it to him yesterday. So Bob is learning. But listen, understand, this is the key. We are in North Queensland here, a funny little place at the end of Australia, and we have a very big opportunity here. On Monday and on Tuesday in the Parliament, both Pauline Hanson and Craig Kelly are trying to put bills up to put an end to all these mandates. ScoMo has one vote away from annihilation. One vote away from annihilation. Bob Katter, if he pulls his support for the Liberal Party, it's either one of 2 things can happen. Either ScoMo drops the mandates and he's forced into it, or it's another election. Either way, we win.
Okay, we actually have 2 more speakers, because guess who comes to town? Mr. Bob Katter!
I want to say right from the start that all the members of our party, we're all North Queenslanders, of course, the 4 of us, we kept our mouths shut and gave the government 2 years in which to abolish this disease. They've had 2 years. Now, we're worse off now. There are more cases now than there was a year ago. So you failed miserably. You have no right now or justification to continue on with this draconian measures. Between Shane and I, we've got 75, nearly 80 years of being members of Parliament. And I was in a government that stopped you from doing things. But I was never in a government that forced you to do something. I just want to say that we have 9 cases into our office. 2, they got the immunisation, they died. 2, they got the immunisation and they are crippled for life. 3, have serious problems that will remain with them for the rest of their lives. And 1 was rushed into ICU, intensive care, almost straight after he got the inoculation. So don't tell me there's no problem. If 1 small member of Parliament's office has 8 in 8 weeks, there is 1 huge problem. There are 5 ladies associated with our office, that work our office or closely related, that have got expecting babies. And there is no person on this planet that can force a pregnant lady to have something that threatens her child. And finally, the two greatest commentators on human rights in world history, I think, the great jurist in America, Oliver Wendell Holmes. And he said, your right to swing your arm stops at my nose. In this case, your right to swing your needle stops at my arm.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Shane Canute, State Member of Parliament. And I am 100% against mandatory vaccination. And I really believe that this is the lowest point we've ever seen in Queensland history. It is a segregation policy, and that is the question without notice I put to the Premier, who failed to answer that question because she was worried about answering that question. And the unfortunate thing about it is this policy is all about banishing the unvaccinated to almost every facet of life. I've never heard anything like that before. I've never heard anything so low before. But just to let you know, Bob Canner and I, we called a press conference on the Tablelands, and we got 6 businesses to come along to show that they're not anti-vaxxers, that they are being vaccinated, but they're concerned about this current mandate, the effects it'll have on them, losing their valued employees. And so we invited 6 along, 600 turned up. And those 600 that turned up, they were the vaccinated and the unvaccinated, and they were there because they were saying that we have had a gutful, this is undemocratic, this is crossing the line, this is going too far, and we want to throw this out. And could you imagine what those who jumped out of the trenches and died for this country, could you imagine? Can you imagine if they had to come back to Australia after defending this nation and they said, oh, you've got to get an ejection, and if you don't, you'll be banished from society altogether. Well, that's what this government is doing to us. So just one more thing, and it's a bit of a guidance here, is the Livingston Shire Council. They put a motion and opposed it, as you've already heard. We need to get all the councils on board. We need to get members of Parliament, just keep hammering these buggers and put fear in them, because we are angry. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're committed. We're going to keep up the fight. We're not going to give up on this.
Before we take off, I'm going to say to you a chant first, and then I want you to repeat. It's in the theme of Pink Floyd's Education. It goes, we don't need no vaccinations. We don't need no force control. We don't need no force control. We don't want this separation. We don't want this separation. We don't want these QR codes. We don't want these QR codes. Hey, leaders, leave our lives alone. All we want is more love, just to be our own.
Freedom!
Hold the line!
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 Freedom!
Stand up, fuck the truth, fuck off. 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 All we want is for the choice to be our own. All we want is for the choice to be our own. We don't need no vaccinations. We don't need no force control. We don't want this separation. We don't want those who are cold. Hey, leave us alone. All we want is for the choice to be our own. All we want is for the stand down, We stand up. Proudly reject this. This is Australia. We believe in a fair go, not apartheid, nor discrimination. Get the vaccine passport up your ass. Get your vaccine passport up your ass.
Awesome, thank you. Woo! I was trying to get a sign actually behind you. Oh, thank you. What's yours say?
You are all love.
Nice, thank you.